Howdy folks, Daniel Rubino here with Windows Phone Central, and boy am I excited to show you guys this. It is the Nokia Lumia 720. I'm going to do a quick unboxing here and show you guys what it's all about. I'm very excited about this phone because, well, I love the 620, and this phone comes after basically the 920 and 820, but you can clearly tell Nokia has learned a lot from both of those designs. So you get some premium features, but some upgraded stuff too. For instance, this has a unibody design with a micro SD slot. And so that's the first time we've ever seen that, and that's pretty awesome. And the phone itself is just gorgeous. And speaking of, let's just get to it. I'm also excited because this is my first yellow Nokia Lumia. I've been tempted to buy a 920 in yellow, but I just couldn't justify the extra cost. But there it is. You get the nice yellow color, very thin phone. This is actually the thinnest Lumia out there right now, which of course that's not like paper thin or anything, but it is significantly thinner than say the 920. It does look a lot like the 820 in a lot of ways from that same design, but definitely pretty nice. Got your micro USB there at the bottom, microphone, camera button, power, volume, headphone jack on top here, and it's of course got all the new ceramic buttons. Let's see if we can pull off the plastic wrap here. Always exciting. And so there you go. You can see the yellow. It's not shiny. It's a matte yellow. So in case you're wondering, those three dots there, that is for the wireless charging sleeve. This does not come with wireless charging built in. It is extra. And you can basically snap on a cover, change the color of it, and then you'll get wireless charging. Those are where it connects basically to the battery. And so it's kind of a neat design. I'm not sure if they had planned this later on and that was like a workaround or what. What makes the 720 also nice is you do get a flash and a Carl Zeiss camera. So that is one of the differences between the low end, say 520, which I have right here. You can see the 520 looks kind of similar, but it doesn't have a flash and it doesn't have a Carl Zeiss camera, and so that's a big difference there. Also, the screen is a lot, better on the 720. You have the clear black and all that kind of stuff built into it, where you can sort of see already the difference between that and the 520. But there's also a big price difference between these two, right? So you can actually pick up this phone unlocked about $350, $360, which is still significantly cheap. That's about $70 or $80 more than, say, the Nokia Lumia 620, which is also an amazing phone. Very different design, though, the 620. The 620 almost like doesn't fit in with the Lumia line. It's a very different sort of design. Having said that, I think it's awesome. It's probably one of my favorite phones out there. You can see how they got the speaker grills here at the bottom, which is kind of interesting. Let's see what's actually in the box. I'm just going to guess here. Well, we do have your micro SIM adapter changer there, which is good because I'm always losing those things. Got your instructions. This is pretty normal stuff here for Nokia. This is an unlocked device, so it's very routine for them. You do get your headphones, pretty nice ones too. And then of course your micro USB, and then I have my international charger, which I have a massive collection of now and I'll never actually use. So I'm going to pause this now, going to boot her up, put a SIM card in there, and we'll come back. Okay, and we're back, folks. I managed to slip my AT&T SIM card in there, and as you can see, I'm getting HSPA. That might switch between HSPA Plus and all that, depending on my towers. This is much like my TVS, which is unlocked. So at least you do get 3G speeds with this, presumably also on T-Mobile, although that one is a little bit more strange since it has that 1700 band. But in case you're interested, this phone you can pick up unlocked. It goes for about $350 to $370, which is actually quite cheap. It's about $80 or $90 more than the 650. Let's give it a quick tour here. Like we said, there's your Carl Zeiss camera. It has a 6.7 megapixel, but what makes it really special is it's an f1.9 aperture, which is technically lower than a Lumia 920. That's quite impressive, and I took a couple of photos already with it, and it is a nice camera. It is probably one of the right below the 920, I would actually say. Over here, you can see the slot for the micro SD card, and actually maybe I'll I just dropped a little pin thing, of course. But the mail, actually, see if we can pop it open here. I have a card in there. You can actually kind of see. So I actually have a 64 gig card, and it pops in, and it's just giving me a warning about removing the card. Likewise, on top, here's where your micro SIM goes. Same thing, just pop it open, and it's much like the Lumia 920. But having that micro SD card on the side there is a first, since this is a unibody design, so you can't remove the battery, which is a 2000 milliamp, and that's actually pretty huge when you think about it, especially the thinness of it. And Nokia, if you go to their site, are promoting this phone as long battery life. It's supposed to get 13 hours of talk time, although some tests have showed around 15 hours. And so it is definitely probably one of the longest lasting Lumias out there, and that's a pretty good selling point that they have. So far, my impressions of it, because I've been using it a lot actually since I first unboxed it, it's really nice. It actually feels a lot better. Now, this is sporting a 1 gigahertz dual core Snapdragon S4, which is sort of the same CPU that's found on the 520 here, and of course the 620. But I'm going to say between the display and everything, it just feels more responsive and quicker. I don't feel like there are really any delays. Having said that, when I was syncing all my accounts up and I launched the camera, there was a significant delay. You take a photo and stuff. So, but I mean, that's a one-time thing. That's not going to happen every day. That's when it was pulling down all sorts of information from like 3 or 4 accounts at once, and obviously that taxes the system. But what I'm saying is that's a clear difference between having a 1.5 gigahertz CPU and a 1 gigahertz CPU. This device also has 512 megs of RAM, which is going to limit it to a few, there's some games that are from GameLoft and stuff that won't be able to run on here. GameLoft has been sort of slowly patching those games, so it does work, and Nokia, I think, has been pushing that. But that is something to consider. You don't notice it, though, for everyday experiences. In fact, I'm going to launch some things here. I can't honestly tell that much of a difference when I'm using this. Sorry for the screen flicker, by the way. That's just the, this doesn't have the super fast screen refresh as the 920, so you kind of get that little anomaly. I have installed a bunch of Nokia apps here, so there's your panorama, which gives you all that, and you can put everything on here, Cinemagraph, and it comes with a pretty nice assortment of apps. It has Nokia Glammy built into it, which is that self-shot app, which is pretty cool. The software version on this, we'll hop to that. We'll go to About here, and you can see it is actually running 13.11, the firmware, which is pretty advanced, actually. That is one of the more advanced firmwares that Nokia has out there. So this actually comes with pretty much everything updated, as far as I could tell. I did have to upgrade some of the apps, the Nokia apps, and it is 10.2.11 for the OS version, which is to be expected. Speaking of those Nokia apps, let's check those out. Here's your display touch. So you get sunlight readability, the battery saver, we all accustomed to that now. Even the 520 has that. And of course you get your super sensitive touch. You see I upgraded the menu here, so I get both options, which is a newer version. Let's see your extras and info. Nothing there. And this does have, oops, backed out a little too fast. This does have the new storage check. It might take a second to populate. There it goes. So it's checking out. So that's that new feature that Nokia created, so you can manage your memory, see where everything is being allocated. And of course, under here, under details, you have the ability to sort of clear out any memory, which is pretty nice. Access point, storage check, extra infos, Nokia. So nothing, oh, and under audio, this does have the full audio assortment here, the Dolby Digital stuff and equalizer, which is a great selling point. Especially when you throw in a 64 gig SD card combined with the 8 gigs of internal memory, and now you have a lot of storage space for your media and tunes, and that makes this phone very compelling. I'm being kind of honest, I'm pretty much going to make this my daily driver for a while, mostly because I just love the color and the design of it. It feels really great. It's light in the hand. It's one of the lightest Lumias out there, and I mean, it really feels it. It's, compared to, say, the 920, which I'll bring that one out here. You can sort of see how that compares. And it's not radically different. I mean, it is. Obviously, the 920 has a higher resolution screen, but you don't really notice that in everyday stuff or like on the start screen. It's only when you're looking at images and video does a 920 really accelerate there, and it's a big difference. But the 720 in itself is just a great phone. Just really well done. You can see the thinness here compared to the 920. It doesn't look that thinner, but it actually is. Obviously, the edges are more refined and rounded, and this actually makes a big difference when you're holding it and using it every day. And of course, it's way lighter, mostly because this is like a thinner polycarbonate. You can actually tell it's not as thick and heavy duty as this one. Of course, the 920 has built-in wireless charging and this extra big camera with the OIS built in, so that does add to some of the girth and doesn't bother me. But for some people, you know, it might. But there you go. There is the Lumia 720. Great device. I'm really excited about it. Look for a review in the next few days. Also, our 520 review is almost done, so stay tuned for that. Head to Windows Phone Central for more information. Take care, everybody.